So I just returned from a wonderful trip to Mexico, teaching in different places yesterday. And when I was teaching in Morelia, the folks from the Rechung Dorje Drogpa Center in Jalapa came to attend the teachings. And one of the women there told us about a charity project that she has gotten involved in called Las Patronas. And what this is, and she found out about it simply by watching a program. I don't know if it was on YouTube or that a Mexican journalist did, but now there is a program on, not a program, but a clip on YouTube that they sent me to watch. Anyway, it's a group of 14 women near Veracruz, and they are cooking, they're gathering the food, cooking the food, and donating it to migrants who are passing through Mexico. And I asked, well, who are the migrants? And it's people from Central America who have desperate lives and are trying to get into the U.S. As illegal immigrants because our country won't grant them legal status. And so they are coming through Mexico on these trains going to the U.S. border. So, of course, they are being charged extraordinary amounts of money. And sometimes I found out when they're in Mexico, they're actually killed and they never make it to the U.S. border. Of course, if they make it to the U.S. border, then often they're killed or they're deported there. Anyway, they're on these trains that zoom nearby where these women live. And they, you know, they're poor women. They don't have a lot of resources. There's a local store that will give them day-old bread if they work at the store voluntarily. So the store is kind of exploiting them. But they get the day-old bread, and then other people give them different food things. And they get together and they cook it. And this video shows the things of them cooking the food and preparing it and wrapping it in individual servings in plastic bags. And then they also take used plastic bottles, wash them out, fill them with clean water, okay? And they prepare, I forget how many servings a day. I mean, hundreds or 1,000, or I mean, some extraordinary amount of servings for people a day for these people on the trains. Then the most moving part of it is, and because they're all doing this voluntarily, okay? And for them, they see these people, they see these people like Jesus, okay? So when the trains are coming and they're carrying all this food down there, they say, we're going to meet Jesus. And they stand by the side of the train tracks and they try and get the train to slow down a little bit, but in the one I saw, it was going pretty fast. And these women, some are young, some are old women, you know, some are middle-aged. Then they hold up the food, you know, and the bottles of water, and the guys on the train grab them as the train is zipping by. And they stand there like this, you know, putting this food up with this train, right next to the train, with the train rushing by. And the guys leaning out of the train to grab the food and grab the water because, you know, the people who are exploiting them to go to the U.S. border certainly aren't giving them anything. And they stand there and give it all away. And they say they feel so happy, you know, and they just feel so wonderful doing this charity work. So this woman in Jalapa who's a Buddhist heard about this, so she's trying to help them. And they need a truck to pick up the old bread at the store that they get by working voluntarily at the store, to transport that to the train tracks. And so we made a donation towards that. I said use it for the truck or for the food. Okay? But it really struck me, you know, as such a beautiful thing that they're doing, and their outlook that these women have. It's completely voluntary. It's a grassroots kind of thing, you know. And what made me so sad is these people, who knows if they'll, you know, if they'll enter the U.S. alive, and why is our government turning them back when, you know, they're not the criminals, they're not the drug dealers, they're trying to find work because their families are very hungry. And we're on this anti-immigration thing in this country, even though Americans don't want to do the jobs that the illegal immigrants are doing. And even though all of our ancestors came, much as these same people are coming, you know, desperate from situations of persecution or economic poverty, you know, hiring whoever to take you on a boat. My grandparents all came here on a boat, you know, hoping to make it to the land of promise. And that's how, I mean, all of our, right? I mean, none of us are Native Americans. We all came here as immigrants. And now our government is saying, we don't want any immigrants when we're the immigrants, you know? And I just felt so torn inside about this whole issue, and sad about what has happened to our country and the spirit of our country, and really rejoicing at what these women have been doing, you know. So I'm going to put the link to the video in the next e-news, and then you can watch it, and it's just amazing to watch them stand by the train, like holding this food up with these guys grabbing it from them, you know? Just amazing, and how happy they are. So that's real generosity. Mm-hmm. Okay.